has also given me an opportunity to study the inspirational history of Professor Jayashankar leadership to the Telangana movement. He had the great opportunity to fall in the footsteps of the peasant movement of 1946 to 1948, which has laid the groundwork for the Telangana movement. And we have to appreciate what Professor Jayashankar has done in this historical perspective. Whatever I have been able to read about his own role in this movement, the leadership which he gave, the kind of teacher he was, the kind of Vice Chancellor of Kakatiya University which he was, which you just heard from Mr. Shivalanga Prasad, and the way he, in a very natural manner, stepped into the whole movement. As a student in 1952, when he watched the proceedings of the State Reorganization Commission, very few of us would realize, I do not know how many people in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana realize, how many people outside Telangana will realize, the manner in which Professor Jayashankar has traced the proceedings of State Reorganization Commission. I will like to just share with you, because not all of you would have read that, some parts of it, and very revealing, this history of State Reorganization Commission, how the State Reorganization Commission in fact resisted the whole idea of merger of the Hyderabad state at that time with Andhra Pradesh, and in fact expressed several doubts about whether it should be done or should not be done. It went on to say, and I am quoting from the writings of Professor Jayashankar, the State Reorganization Commission says, it will be in the interest of Andhra as well as Telangana if for the present the Telangana area is constituted into a separate state which may be known as the Hyderabad state, with provisions for its unification with Andhra after the general elections likely to be held in or about 1961. If by 2/3 majority the legislature of the residually Hyderabad state expresses itself in favor of such unification, only then you can consider unification. Andhra and Telangana have a common interest, and we hope these interests will tend to bring the people closer to each other, in that hope that it will bring the people to closer to each other. If, however, our hope for the development of the environment and conditions congenial to the unification of the areas do not materialize, and if public sentiment in Telangana crystallizes itself against the unification of the two states, Telangana will have to continue as a separate unit. 1952 State Reorganization Commission report. It went on to observe, one of the principal causes of opposition to Vishal Andhra also seems to be the apprehensions felt by the educationally backward people of Telangana that they may be swamped and exploited by educationally more advanced people of the coastal areas. When I was reading this line from the Commission's report, it struck me, the Commission, probably without realizing, has made a very important statement about what kind of education we have. That those who get education, who become, within quotation marks, advanced, become also exploiters of the other region. They start exploiting who are called educationally backward people. They are exploited by educationally more advanced people. Instead of educationally more advanced people becoming more humane, instead of believing in equality and freedom from discrimination, they begin to exploit. And the Reorganization Commission recording that. The real fear of the people of Telangana is that if they join Andhra, they will be unequally placed in relation to the people of Andhra, and in this partnership, the major partner will derive all the advantages immediately, while Telangana itself may be converted into a colony by the enterprising Andhras. Again, about something about enterprise. Enterprise is a word which you have gotten from the capitalism, which has shown about how enterprise in fact makes you an exploiter. In the final word, you become an exploiter. And that's what Reorganization Commission is also confirming. I will not go on with that, but Professor Jayashankar in this perspective makes some very important statement which we should recall at this time. He says that the merger of Telangana with Andhra was, however, not unconditional. It was facilitated by a number of solemn promises made and constitutional safeguard given to the people of the region as a protective umbrella against the possible exploitation in the enlarged state. These promises were made not once, they were made umpteen times and were also broken umpteen times. Nor the merger of Telangana with Andhra was considered eternal. No less a person than Jawaharlal Nehru himself compared it with matrimonial alliance having provision for divorce if the partners of the alliance cannot get on well. As feared, nothing could prevent the successive governments from exploiting this region in every sphere: economic, political, administrative, cultural and linguistic. A very interesting observation made by Professor Jayashankar after writing all this. He writes, the reason for the opposition of people of Telangana to join Vishalandhra, which was metamorphosed to Andhra Pradesh, was fear of neglect and injustice in the enlarged state. This is before joining. Was a fear of neglect and injustice in the enlarged state. And the reason for their refusal to continue in the present state is the actual experience of becoming victims of neglect and injustice. We have, I must mention here, we have examples of 3 other states in the early years of 2000s, which have also separated from larger states. Uttarakhand from Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand from Bihar, and Chhattisgarh from Madhya Pradesh. In each case, similar sense of discrimination and injustice, inequality was part of their history of struggle. In each case, the aspiration of the people was to acquire a new state in order to have equitable development, in order to be free of injustices which they have suffered for decades after independence, in order to build a new society and new model of development. In each of the 3 cases, this could not happen. The new states were also governed by the ruling classes which had the same character as the ruling classes of the combined undivided states. And I will go later in my discussion today with you about how Chhattisgarh was very much struggling in the same way as Telangana was struggling. And I will go over it later. But I think we should record here in our minds, just creation of a new state does not ensure that the aspirations of the people will be fulfilled in very much the same way as creation of new independent Indian state also could not fulfill the aspirations of the entire history of freedom struggle for more than 100 years. And we were warned by no less than Shahid-e-Azam Bhagat Singh, in clear words, that in the process of fighting for independence, our leadership of the freedom movement sought cooperation, got cooperation, for what it itself, the leadership called the national bourgeoisie. And Bhagat Singh and his colleagues warned the Congress party leadership at that time in 1938-29 that this cooperation which you are seeking for national bourgeoisie is not going to create the kind of India which we are fighting for. And without undertaking a struggle for radical transformation from the capitalist nature of the society to a socialist nature, we won't be able to achieve our aim of better India. This was the essence of that warning which Bhagat Singh and his comrades gave to the then leadership of the freedom struggle. I think we should recall all this when we're discussing the challenges faced by the new Telangana. And I think Professor Jayashankar has hinted towards this again and again when he keeps referring to the corporate forces, which we have to be now aware of. In fact, I was reading this document called Announcement of Aims of Telangana Vidyavantula Vedika, which also talks of that, yes, we want development, we want to be free of injustices, inequality, but how will we fight against the corporate forces is our concern. And that continues to be the concern of the entire leadership of Telangana today. I think it is in this context, let's also look at the kind of massive data collection which Professor Jayashankar undertook in order to substantiate what must have been at that time before him, the rhetoric of discrimination Telangana was suffering. So Professor Jayashankar gave scientific, logical ground for it based upon data. I'll just read out few sentences from here and there. When he undertook a full-fledged study of unequal distribution of water and river resources. And he writes after, in the process of presenting the study, referring to Krishna and Godavari rivers, he says, within the state of Andhra Pradesh, 68.5% of the catchment area of river Krishna and 69% of the catchment area of river Godavari are in the Telangana region. This is undivided Andhra Pradesh. In addition, most of the tributaries of these rivers track length and breadth. If waters of these rivers flowing through the region are utilized, almost every acre of cultivable land available in Telangana could be provided with assured irrigation facilities, and every village could be provided with assured drinking water facilities. But Telangana had been denied its rightful share in the river waters by the successive governments over the last 4.5 decades, irrespective of the political parties and leaders in power. While talking about the other resources, right, the land, water, power and other infrastructure facilities made available to the industries set up in undivided Andhra Pradesh belong entirely to Telangana, yet the migrants from other regions grab more than 95% of the jobs offered by these industries. More than 95% of the jobs in Telangana, industries in Telangana are going to people from outside. When the government says that it is protecting the interests of the state, very interesting observation. When the government says it is protecting the interests of the state, it actually means protecting the interests of coastal Andhra corporate forces. It has been the sad and bitter experience of the people of this region right from day one of the formation of the state. All of these observations should inform the three other states which have fought battles for their separation from the larger states, Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. I think it's very important to keep comparing notes. It's, I think, also important that the struggle which has been launched in Telangana for equitable development and freedom from discrimination and injustice, we might like to organize a joint conference of representatives of the struggle from Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, so that you can consult each other and save Telangana from going in those directions in the ruling classes of those three states. Shall I wait? Because I won't be able to speak so much. Are you correcting? I hope you are correcting.